Welcome everyone to another bonus video. It's another flash sale weekend going on PSN. It is May 12th, 2017. This is going until May 15th at 8 a.m. So it's just really this weekend, 8 a.m. The sale is over. That is 8 a.m. Pacific time though, so that means 11 a.m., which is when the store usually ends up updating here in North America, if you're unfamiliar with that. Basically every day I get up, I'm like waiting for 11 to make sure to see what new games and all that kind of stuff are going on. So I've gotten used to when the PlayStation Store actually ends up updating. But anyway, we're going to go through this. There's 116 different games on sale. Some of them are on multiple systems. Gonna focus mostly on PS4 and Vita titles. If there's ones that are PS3 that I really know about, talk about them a little bit. Also, if I reviewed the games already, I can talk about them. If I've played them ever in the past or know anything about them, I'll do my best to try to give you some information. So here we go. First up is, as you can see, this is the page for the flash sale. Zen Pinball 2 Mars. Zen Pinball 2 is a pinball game, obviously, and Mars is one of the tables for it, and you can get this particular pinball table for 62 cents on PS3, 4, and Vita. Next up is Star Drone. This is an interesting little game where you control a little ship, and you actually have to like latch on to like different like bumpers. It's kind of like a pinball mechanic in some ways. I wish they had actually just screenshots instead of a trailer. But you have to like latch onto it in order to move yourself, like trajectory yourself in the proper direction. So you like latch on and it'll start turning around because you're in space, and then you can send yourself in the whatever direction that you need to. Star Drone Extreme is just the more advanced version of the game, both on sale for $1.19. Star Drone on PS3 and Star Drone Extreme on Vita. Velocity Ultra is a shooter. I'm pretty sure a space-like shooter. So there you go. You can kind of get a gist for that. Not a bad price at all, though. $1.49. I always keep up PSN profiles so we can do quick looks. It's probably not going to be under what are in there. Let's see, Velocity Ultra. There we go. It does have a platinum. Low percentage, though, for sure. A lot of people own this game. I wonder if it was a free title at some point. Seems like a decent amount of people own it. 42,000 for a lesser known game. So my guess, it may have been a plus game that maybe I missed because it was a Vita PS3. Next up is Alone With You, which I also want to say for some reason was a plus game at some point. This is on PS4 and Vita. This is an adventure puzzle game. Cool kind of little art style about your character on a space colony. And like you're the last survivor of it and stuff like that. So it's a good game. It's a well-told story and all that. It's one of those like adventure style games, so not everyone's cup of tea, but worth giving a look if you've never done so. $3.99 is not too bad of a price. Next up is Assemblance. This is a game I did actually do a review for. It's a cool game. It's a weird game. You play as a guy that works for this company, and you're trying to piece together what exactly is going on. There's multiple endings, and the way that you like progress in the game is extremely weird. It's hard to describe exactly, but there's no action in it. It's a very short game. I mean, extremely short. In fact, like 30 minutes or something like that in order to complete like the first ending. But then you end up replaying, and then you're able to activate different things that you weren't able to the first time around, and it ends up changing up a little bit. I remember when the game first launched, there was a scramble to try to figure out the final ending because people were having a hard time unlocking it, but eventually people were able to figure that out. No platinum involved in the game, though, so if it had one, it'd be a probably easy platinum to get. Next up is Big Sky Infinity. This is on 3 and Vita. This is another like space shooter, as you can see, another shmup type game, but it's cross-buy for PS3 and 4 if you want to go ahead and get it for $2.49. Go ahead and look this up real quick. I always end up closing PSN profiles when I so anyway, no platinum on this one. A low percentage too. Only 80 people have 21,000 and have it. Is this another one that's was a free game at some point? When I see high numbers of people owning games, especially ones I've never really heard too much about, I always do wonder, was it a plus game that I just missed? Because a lot of the Vita games and PS3 games I just didn't bother with, just because I already have moved on to PS4 at that time. Next up is Hyper Void for $3.99. This is a pretty cool looking shooter. Very psychedelic and colorfuls. I don't know what that even means. Over 25 levels in the game. Epic boss showdowns. There you go. Hyper Void for the PS3. I don't know if it's on. Yes, it's also on PS4. So there you go. That's there as well. Go ahead and look up real quick. No platinum and a low percentage. Another high amount of people own the game. Next up is Lit Spear. This game got a little bit of buzz when it dropped. It's on PS4 and the Vita. It's a game where you use a character that has a spear, and you have to kind of angle it in order to hit things that are be able to take them out. It's a relatively difficult game, but very simplistic overall. I never ended up getting around to trying it out myself, but it seemed like kind of a cool game. I just didn't end up getting it because of the price point, time, and all that good stuff. So I know a lot of people did end up messing with Lit Spear. It seemed like a pretty okay game. It does have a platinum that not very many people have owned. Saying this is about right, because the game has not been a free plus game at any point, and being a lesser known game, only 470 owners, but you can kind of see some difficult trophies. The platinum only at a 0 to 1. Only one person has platinum it. So there you go. That's even that proves it even more so. Very difficult. Platinum overall. Next up is Manual Samuel, another game I did review. This is a game where it's kind of like a co-op-like game where each button controls a different body part, and your goal so it's a very simplistic kind of game as far as just the general progression of it, but because you have to use all the different limbs as different buttons, it can be difficult at times. Basically, the Samuel dies, and you go to hell, and he gets one chance at life again by doing some stuff in one day, and you have to perform these tasks in order to do it. It's a fun game for a very short amount of time. It does have a platinum. It's a very doable platinum. It's not super easy, because you do have to do these trials, which have a little bit of a strict time limit. But it is a very doable one. Sure. Mars Warlogs for the PS3 is the one I have not heard of. Oh, it's a mature game. I was born in 1914. I am old. I'm very old. Looks kind of cool, though. I had not even heard of this game. RPG Mars Warlogs takes you to Mars. Doesn't give me a whole lot of information on. For some reason, I'd never even heard of this one. If this is one you've messed with, let me know a little bit more about it. Obviously, I'm sure it came out a while ago at this point. It's just one I missed. No platinum there. And Mousecraft is up next at $1.99. Mousecraft is a puzzle game, as you can clearly see, with you have to basically use these different contraptions with the mice in order to solve the puzzles in each of the levels. Kind of a cool little distraction style of game, and it's a pretty low price point at $1.99, so that's kind of cool. I do want to look up. No platinum. I didn't think it did. A lot of these games, if I haven't heard of them, usually, if they have an easy plats, I probably have heard of them by now. Next up is Nova 111. This is a weird turn-based adventure game that I have not personally played. It's a really low price point, though, so if this is one you've messed with, let me know, because Nova. There we go. Now it comes up. No platinum involved. A lot of people own it, so I was going to say, this one is another one that I remember for some reason maybe potentially being a plus game at some point. Maybe I just didn't get it at that point, as a lot of people have it. Next up is Paranautical Activity. This game has been trying to get bundled. There's a few games I talk about weekly on my PlayStation, This Week in PlayStation videos, that get, bundled a lot. Basically, it's a cube-looking, whatever, Minecrafty-looking type of shooter that has extremely hard trophies overall. It is roguelike and all that kind of stuff. They've tried to bundle this game with a ton of different other games out there. You can pretty much get Paranautical Activity with other games for a really low price. Cube Director's Cut for PS3 and PS4 for $2.49. This is a game I am unfamiliar with. Looks like obviously a first-person puzzle game. Use high-tech gloves to manipulate the environment around you. That kind of looks cool, though. Like building, use the blocks to build bridges and activate different things. So it looks cool. It gets obviously a little bit darker as it gets farther in, and probably has an okay story. I have not personally played it. Let's see. Like always, good. No platinum involved, but high percentage though. That 42 out of 2,000 people, 2,600 people, 250 did beat it. Trying to see what's lowest. There you go. Don't touch the floor and hover headway is the lowest percentage. That must obviously be pretty difficult to do since only 9% of people have actually gone ahead and done that. Next up, Red Faction 2, the classic PS2 game on the PS4. No platinum in this game, I don't think. I know some of the PS2 classics did not end up getting. I know Red Faction 2 has stuff, but important just for Red Faction 1, like they just don't have 2 listed in it. Yeah, I mean that's what it is. So okay, relatively low percentage, but it does have a platinum, so that kind of is surprising. But good price for that, $249. Red Faction 2 is a fun first-person shooter, one that I remember from the early days of PS2. I played it a bunch back then, and so it's basically just a PS2 version of it. It's not like spruced up or anything like that. They do like make the game run smoother though, so it looks and runs smoother. But it's still basically just the PS2 version of that. Red Faction Battlegrounds. This is another obviously Red Faction game, one that I didn't personally ever play myself. Wow. So Red Faction Guerrilla download arcade game of Battlegrounds. So this was a standalone download game for Red Faction Battlegrounds. Next up is Risk of Rain. This is a game that got a little bit of indie buzz. It's supposed to be getting a limited run release at some point, or did get one. I think it's coming soon. It's a game that I've never played, but it gets brought up a bunch with indie titles. I've never really saw, like, it didn't seem all that interesting to me personally. But you can kind of see a little bit of what's going on there. Skyforce Anniversary up next. This is a shooter. That was on older, I forget what system it was on. It was an older game, and they revamped it for modern systems. It's, pretty typical vertical shooter. That is a lot of fun if you like these kind of games. Low price point, $349 is not too bad for a game like this. I did want to look up, of course. No platinum, of course. So why would they have one? But there you go. You can kind of see. Relatively high percentage, though, for the trophies in Skyforce Anniversary, and it's on Vita 3 and 4. Soldier X2 Final Prototype, another shmup. Is this on PS4 as well? No, it's on Vita and PS3, so I wasn't sure. There you go, you can kind of see it. Good shmup, like one of the funner ones, a lot of chaotic stuff kind of going on in it, and a fun game. Another one that is like kind of a classic that got like re-brought back. And $2.99 is, once again, on shmups, like $2.99 is not too bad to pay for something like that. Stealth Inc., the original, and Stealth Inc. 2. I played neither one of these games. I know they kind of like put, like, I know when they did like an indie push years ago, I know Stealth Inc. was like kind of part of that indie push at one point, like with they do like that weekly thing in summer where they like showcase 4 indie games, and Stealth Inc. was one of the ones that ended up getting promoted. I haven't yet played either one. My guess is it is a stealthy based game, which is one of the reasons why I probably didn't really end up messing with it too much. It looks kind of cool though. Second one here at least. $2.49. So you end up getting both for like $5, which is not too bad. A puzzle platformer. If you mess with Stealth Inc., let me know, because it's one that I haven't personally messed with. Next up is Super Mutant Alien Assault. This is a game that I wanted to check out when it came out, but I never got around to it. It came out last year. July was a terrible month for me overall. But it looks like kind of game I would definitely enjoy. Kind of a retro look and feel to the game. No platinum though, unfortunately, in the game. But $2.99 is not a bad price at all. The Fall for PS4. This is a game that I had heard a little bit about when it came out a couple years ago, but I never got a chance to mess with it myself. Like, obviously, won Best Story, apparently, from Giant Bomb, so that probably has a halfway decent story implied. If it's one that you've personally messed with, let me know. It kind of looks interesting for sure. Kind of hard to judge exactly, but I assume like puzzle solving and all that kind of good stuff in the game. Titan Attacks for PS4, PS3, and the Vita is up next at $1.99. A lot of really cheap stuff. This is obviously looks like kind of like a Space Invaders, Galaga-esque looking kind of game. Kind of cool though. For $1.99, this is the kind of game that is at $1.99 is like a fun little distraction, arcadey style game. Definitely something I would probably enjoy. Not too bad as far as a lot of people own it. Was it free? I don't know. I always question this. I'm like question this constantly. I feel like I'm so out of the loop in this video because like a lot of these games I haven't personally played. So it's cool that a lot of them are on sale. Ones that I haven't personally messed with myself. Basically means they haven't been the last couple years because now I'm so into every single week what comes out on PSN. So as the dog apparently has decided to respond. But next up is Ultratron. Another game from Curve Digital. Okay, this is basically like, oh, I can't think of its name. Robotron. Robotron. It's Ultratron. It makes sense. Robotron. A classic arcade style shooter. Very chaotic, for sure, and looks kind of cool. So this is another one. It's probably twin stick. Yes, twin stick arena shooter. So this is another one for $1.99. I definitely dig that. Like, that's not a bad price point at all for a game like this, and one that if I had extra money right now and time, I definitely would check it out because I like these kind of arcadey kind of games, especially at a low price point like that. Onwards to page 5. Unmechanical. Another one I'm not familiar with. What a surprise. Is there any games during this thing would be like truly fully familiar with? Not a whole lot, it seems like. Obviously, a weird-looking puzzle game, for sure. Looks kind of cool. Looks a little bit interesting. $2.49, not too bad of a price. My guess, without even looking, is it's not going to have a plat, but I can go ahead and... I keep closing PSN profiles like an idiot. Like, I just keep closing it. Dang, it's on... PS4, PS3, it's just on multiple, okay, it has multiple lists. High percentage, though, on relatively high percentage for those who have messed with it in the past. Next up is Velocity Ultra, which we look at. Maybe this is a different one. This is the PS3 Velocity Ultra. So we looked at this earlier, I think for the Vita. I don't know why it was like a little bit later. Maybe it's more pricey on the 3, but you can kind of see another looking shooter game. PS4 and PS Vita for Xenoraid. This is another shooter, so lots of shooters on sale, and a cool game overall. Can be played multiplayer and all that good stuff. So another one that's kind of fun. I never messed with it personally, but shmups are always fun, shooters are always fun, and no platinum though, unfortunately. There. Zen Pinball 2, the Aliens versus Pinball, so it's the Aliens and Predator pinball machines or Zen Pinball 2 for $3.99. Not bad. I assume you get 3 pinball tables due to the picture, so if you're a fan of Zen Pinball 2 and looking for some new ones that you don't have, maybe, you don't have the Aliens, $3.99 is not too bad. Final Horizon is the next game on this wonderful journey that we're having, and I'm sorry this video is pretty bad for me, and I feel like it's terrible, and I apologize. It's because it's a lot of games I'm just not that as familiar with. Looks kind of interesting. Kind of hard to judge exactly. Are you the spider, I guess? Or are you just controlling the other stuff? Okay, it's a tower defense. I'm like, are you the spiders? Or you are the things? You are the things. There's a tower defense-like kind of game, fight off against worms. Pretty standard tower defense-y-esque kind of experience there. Solar X2 Final Prototype Complete Bundle. This is just more of the same with Solar X. Still a good game. Now we're talking, hey, a game that I've actually played, reviewed, and kind of liked, and that is Little Acre. This is a beautiful-looking game. It looks like a cartoon movie, like interactive, you know, interactive cartoon movie. It does have 2 different things to it, though. It has this like kind of chibi looking thing when you're inside this other world, as well as the main adventure style. It is an adventure game. It's really short actually. $5.19 is not too bad considering the normal price is $12.99, and it has an unbelievably easy platinum. There is a speedrun trophy involved, so you may need to play the game twice. But with a guide, I missed. I didn't really have a guide the first time I played the game, and I still barely missed the speedrun trophy the first time through the game. Like I said, I do have a full review for this one if you want to know more information about it, but it's a very, very easy platinum. Crimson Land up next for the PlayStation 4 and the Vita. This is a very chaotic looking shooter. You're that very, very small kind of character. Obviously a twin stick shooter. I like these kind of games. Yes, there's a lot of them, but I still like and enjoy them, and I find a lot of fun with them. It looks very bloody due to the amount of spiders. Lots of dead spiders. Get out that spider rage with this one. No plat though involved. Assault Android Cactus is up next. One of the more interesting names. This is a chaotic, isometric, top-down looking, potentially up to 4-player shooter style of game, arcade style. A lot of fun. I'm sure. Once again, this is another kind of game that I do end up enjoying and wanted to play at one point with my friends. Just unfortunately never ended up getting around to trying it out ourselves. But if you're looking for another twin stick like shooter, especially one that can be played multiplayer with friends, $4.49 is not a bad price point. Another game similar to that just came out this week, actually came out today, is Demon's Crystals. A game I just did a review for this week, and it's only $5 by default. That's the default price, not even on sale. It does have a platinum at a very low percentage. I like the artwork and the characters and all that kind of stuff, so another cool looking game for sure. Doki Doki Universe. This is one that got buzz when it came out, and I never played it at all. It just looked weird. Of course, there's no nothing but the trailer here for it. It's look at this. Story planets, personal quizzes. What exactly is happening with it? I know that, like I said, this game got buzz and stuff when it first came out, but I never ended up messing with it. $5.99. I guess if you've never tried it out, that's not too awful, but not too amazing. I am alive. Am I alive? I don't know if I'm alive. $2.99 for this. Doesn't give me a whole lot of things. Post-apocalyptic tale, stamina and resource management. Immediately it was like, deadly, ammo scares, players have to blah 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 blah. They do a good job with a couple of these screenshots where it looks kind of cool, but I have a feeling the game isn't all that great. But then again, it does have 120 ratings. That game Spirit Destiny that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago was an absolute joke of a game. No platinum in that. It has 805 5-star ratings or something. It's ridiculous. Infamous First Light for $5.99. This is a standalone title that was a spinoff of Second Son or whatever, where you play as this female. I can't remember her name, unfortunately. I don't know. Anyway, it's a decent game if you like the Infamous style of gameplay. It's basically a smaller Infamous. Very, very easy platinum outside of the arenas. A lot of the trophies involve these arenas, which can be a little grindy and a little bit annoying. I was still able to get the platinum in 2 sittings, so it was not very difficult for me. But some may end up finding it a tad more difficult than Second Son, just because of the arenas. But $5.99 if you're wanting to give it a shot, not a bad price point at all. And it does, if you're wondering about physical release, it did not get one here in North America, but it did get one in Europe. I actually imported it from Europe for that purpose. Next up is Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. This was recently free on Plus. I think even last month or something like that, it was free on Plus. I know it was recent. A puzzle, weird-looking puzzle game, colorful-looking puzzle kind of game. Emphasis on co-op and the like. I never personally messed with it. It looked kind of cool. A game that looked really weird. One-way trip. No platinum here. They don't give a good job with these screenshots. But this is a trippy, drug-induced adventure-style game. I never messed with it because the price point was a little too high. That's a little bit better of a price. If I had the time and money, I would probably check this one out. people who bought this also bought Dogchild. Oh, I feel bad for them. Dogchild, one of the worst games on the PS4, period. I don't know. I don't know what to think of One Way Trip. If you've actually played it, please let me know. There's Red Faction, the PS4 version of Red Faction. So this is the one with the platinum. We talked about the other one earlier. So I don't know why Red Faction 2's trophies didn't pop up, but $4.49 for Red Faction. This was like the HD. Okay, this was like an HD remastering, I think, of the original Red Faction. And then they also released Red Faction 2 as a PS2 to PS4 classic. Confusing. Very confusing. I'm sure someone will already comment about Red Faction already before I got to this part of the video, but there we go. Clarification for the Red Faction thing from earlier. They should just put the Red Faction games together, and it'd been a lot easier. Shadow Complex Remastered. Shadow Complex was a game. Screenshots for it. It's a side-scroller type of game that ended up getting some buzz when it first ended up coming out. This is the remastering of it. It was a PS3 title, and they ended up moving it on to PS4. $5.99 is not a bad price at all for the game. It kind of has an old-school kind of feel to it, and it does have a platinum for those who would want to try to go after it, but it's a very low percentage at only 3%. Next up is Slain Back from Hell. This is a game I do have a review for if you want to see that one. And it actually also is another one of those ones that has a physical release in Europe, but not in North America. This is a very heavy metal inspired, gothic, bloody and difficult kind of game. I wasn't as impressed by it as some people have been. I thought the music was just okay. It could have been a lot better, I thought. It's not an extremely long game. There are some really cool moments in the game for sure, with where you become like a wolf and have to like do these chase sequences like you can see here. It's a cool game. It didn't blow me away though. At $5.09 though is not a bad price point for it. Next up is Super Stardust Delta Interstellar Bundle, another twin stick like shooter. $5.99 at least is a decent price. There Came an Echo. This is a game I think it has Will Wheaton for some reason. I want to remember like something like that. Yes, Will Wheaton. It's a real-time strategy style of game, sci-fi, obvious story going on in it. Kind of a cool-looking game. Came out last year. I just didn't get around to trying out myself. If you messed with it, of course, once again, let me know. $5.09. Doesn't seem like too bad of a price for it. Let's see though. Yes, it does have a platinum, just a relatively low percentage at 10.29. The Swapper. This is another game that got a limited run release not too long ago. I didn't personally mess with it. Kind of cool looking though. This is obviously, I'm gonna assume, is like a puzzly kind of game, but with like whole dark kind of atmosphere. The whole looks kind of cool though. Graphically, nice colors and stuff like that, and the lighting especially. So I kind of like that. It looks kind of cool. I never messed with it though. Tower of Guns. This was another game. I think this was free at some point on the Plus. I never messed with it. This is a first-person shooter that's like randomized levels and stuff like that. Not my personal cup of tea. $3.74 though is not bad if for some reason you've never messed with it before. 2064 read-only memory. This is a text-based adventure game that's very much inspired by the likes of Police Knots and that era of adventure kind of games. Great artwork overall in the title, and is one that I wanted to mess with, but I just fortunately found to being able to do so. Looks like kind of a cool game though, overall for sure, if you like those kind of games. Next up is Axiom Verge. This is the very, very Metroid-esque game that's awesome. Highly recommend Axiom Verge. $9.99 is not a bad price for it. It does have a physical release, but it's like it's limited. It's not limited run games, but it's a limited one of it. They're doing like a collector's edition of it for it. It's either out or it's coming out soon. I can't remember exactly. But if you love Metroid and you haven't played Axiom Verge, like classic Metroid, obviously, you need to check out Axiom Verge. Destroy All Humans. This is the PS2 game brought over the PS4. It's a open world, you know, kind of sandbox game, but it's not a whole ton to do or anything like that. The story progression is still relatively linear. You play as an alien. It takes place in like the 50s or early 60s or whatever, and it has a lot of that humor of that, like, there's a lot of alien humor of like anal probes and stuff like that. I actually did a review for this version if you're more interested. It does have a platinum, and a very doable platinum. It took me a couple of days in order to knock the platinum out, because there's a couple of grindy trophies. I hate grindy trophies. I wish companies would stop doing them. Like ones where it's like, earn a certain amount of money, but it's like an exuberant amount of money, more so than you need for everything. You could buy everything in the game, and you still need like a couple, you know, $1,000 or whatever it is in that. Galak Z up next. This is another shooter game. We actually talked about this recently on the last sale. They had, I think this was on sale for the Golden Week sale as well at $7.99. I don't know if that was the price point then as well, or is it cheaper or more expensive? Unfortunately, looked at so many games, I don't remember. But still kind of cool. Headlander is up next. This is a game that has a little bit of an easy platinum. I want to say this was also another one that was recently on sale, or I talked about it previously at another sale video. Kind of a cool looking game, and like I said, I remember it having a relatively high percentage. Yeah, you can see there, 30% have the platinum in it, so it's a very, very doable platinum for sure. Oddworld New and Tasty. This was the newest Oddworld game. It's the classic Oddworld, kind of brought back, remastered, redone. It did get a very small release in limited run games again. $4.99 though is a nice price point if you're someone who likes the Oddworld games. This was, I think, a free plus game though at some point as well. But if you like Oddworld and you never touched this one, didn't have plus at the time, or whatever it may be, it's worth checking out. Oddworld games are fun. They're like adventure kind of puzzle games where you have to kind of figure out how to get Abe, who's a very weak overall character, you know, can't really fight and defend himself, try to get him through the different areas. Just a great series overall of games, and well worth your time if you've never messed with it. Red Faction, Armageddon, and Gorilla for $3.99 each for PS3. Not bad at all. I'm just going to kind of move past that though and try to get through this. Next up, Bureau XCOM Declassified. Wow, this was a disaster. This was a game that I was looking forward to. I actually bought it on day one. I deleted it now, but I had a Let's Play of the entire game on my YouTube at one point. This is actually one of my first like Let's Play kind of games. $1.99 though. If you want a pretty bad XCOM experience with like not a good story at all, it's not a great game. It is far from. If you want crappy XCOM, or you've heard this game is bad and you just like want to see how bad it is, $1.99 thankfully is not bad. I paid, you know, $60 for the game when it first came out or whatever. Just no, don't mess with Bureau. Not worth it. But $1.99 if you have that like itch to play something bad, that'll cure that itch probably. Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, the PS3 version of it, $7.49, not bad at all for that. Evolve, $7.49. Is anyone even playing Evolve anymore? This is the game that was supposed to be very much a Left 4 Dead style game, just with like more different monsters instead of zombies. It was supposed to be like a big, huge deal, and everyone talked about it, and it was like, oh, and then they screwed it up with microtransactions and DLC, and no one cared. And after like a month or two of the game, like it was discounted to a huge, you know, lower price, and I got like an actual physical copy of it like a few months later for less than $20. Hyper Devotion Noir Goddess Blackheart, one of the Hyper Dimension games, the long-running series of JRPG-inspired games. This one looks like a little bit different as it's chibi, with the characters and all that. $4.49 is not bad at all. I'm a big fan of like Idea Factory and a lot of their games. I've always wanted to play more of the Hyper Dimension games, but I never get a chance to check them out. But it's like a strategy tactic RPG. For $4.49 though, not bad at all. Like if you're a fan of these style of games, anime like games, tactic style games, that's definitely gonna probably be worth your time. The Mass Effect trilogy on PS3 for $14.99. I wish it was on PS4. I wish they would put the trilogy on PS4 as well. That's a good price point, though, for digital version of that. $14.99 for all 3 Mass Effects on PS3. There is obviously a physical version of that out there as well. Soma, $8.99, much better price point for this game. This game was one of those ones that got a bunch of buzz when it ended up coming out. It is a horror game set underwater, and it's a cool game. Like, don't get me wrong, it is a cool game, but I thought it was way overpriced for the time when it came out. It has a good story as well to go along with it. $8.99 is a much better price. It also doesn't have a platinum. Negative on that one. That stinks. Time Machine VR. VR games, I don't really know a whole lot of, I don't really mess with a whole lot. XCOM Enemy Within, $5.99 is not bad at all for this. I like the XCOM games. A lot of people prefer them on PC, and I do not blame them. But if you've been curious about XCOM in general, and you have a PS3 laying around, $5.99, not too bad. Maybe you can get a cheaper physical version out there, eBay or something like that, but $5.99 is not bad at all. Evolve Digital, bleh. Kerbal Space Program. This is a game that's a lot of fun to watch other people play, though I don't personally like playing it myself. $15.99, still kind of because it's normally $40. This is like a game where you have to, like, build a spaceship and send the little aliens into space. But to do so, you have to, like, do a lot of, like, calculations and put together the right thing. And if you screw up at all, the ship blows up and kills them. Like I said, it's a lot of fun watching people fail in it, for sure. Technomancer up next. This is a game that came out last year that no one cared about. It was full price, I think, at one point when it first came out. It looked kind of interesting, but I was not paying anywhere near that price. $15.99 is at least a little bit better, though I've seen the physical version of it for about that price now as well. It's been on Gamefly off and on. I always recommend Gamefly for buying used games because you get the codes that come with the games. They are guaranteed to work, and the discs. I've never had an issue with a game from Gamefly not working. But it's an action RPG style of game where you play as a technomancer. Because it's like a necromancer, but it's techno-y. Long video, it's a long week. Anyway, next up is a Transformers game, Fall of Cybertron and Rise of Darkspark. These are the better Transformers games. These are like the ones that aren't based directly on a crappy Michael Bay movie. I've heard a lot of good about Fall of Cybertron, and is this the PS4 re-release of it? No, it's the PS3 release of it. Do they have it on PS4? Well, of course, the PS4. I know. Well, I think Fall Rise of Darkspark is definitely on PS4 as well. I think Fall of Cybertron got re-released on PS4 at $9.99. If these were the PS4 versions, not bad at all. Now that it's PS3. If you're still interested, if you love Transformers, Fall of Cybertron is worth giving a look to, but it is also on PS4. I'm pretty sure remastered or whatever on PS4. Evolve Ultimate Edition, Battlezone, the tank-based VR game. Doom for $20, not bad. Doom is one of my favorite games of last year. I have a full review if you want to see that. It's a long time ago now. It's like, dang, it's been a year basically since this came out. It's probably almost exactly a year. It's May 12th today. When was it? May 13th. Dang, I was right. Like almost exactly a year from when that came out. Great. The single player alone is worth it. The multiplayer was I've heard they've improved it though. The single player is fast-paced. It reminds you of classic Doom in a lot of ways. It's better. I liked it better than Doom 3. Anyway, one of my favorite games. $20 is not too bad for that at all. I'm sure you can probably get a physical version of it, relatively the same price or even cheaper. There's Rise of Darkspark, the PS4 version. See, if this was $9.99, I could recommend it. I bought this used for PS4 for like $20, but that was like 2 years ago at this point. So not really worth it. XCOM 2, $30 for the deluxe, or $23.99. Once again, that's not bad. $23.99 for it. There is, of course, a physical version of the game, and I've been wanting to get it for a while and play it. Like I said, I like the XCOM games. I just never got around to playing XCOM 2 just because of time constraints. One day I'll be hopefully a little cheaper, and I'll finally get my copy, but that's not bad. And then last but not least, I just did mention No Man's Sky. Not my game, not my kind of game, and yes, there's all the negative stuff. I knew that game was going to be have issues from the moment I first saw it, and everything that I feared about No Man's Sky came true. And it was one of those ones like, you know, I was saying it forever, and people just were like, nah, No Man's Sky's gonna be the best game ever. Not even joking. I would have people, you know, consistently saying, No Man's Sky's gonna be amazing, it's gonna be the best thing ever, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, it's not. But people like to get their hopes up. That's why I have a hard... It's mainly because I'm just so, at this point, I'm so cynical at this point, and I have no faith in game companies delivering on things. I've been burned so many times that it takes a lot for me to get excited about a game. Like right now, people always ask, what game are you most excited about here, like in 2017? And the only one that I'm like really, really excited about is Red Dead 2. Like that, and I know it's Rockstar. It's not gonna be bad. There's no way it could possibly be bad. And I love Red Dead 1 so much. So like Red Dead Redemption, you know, not Red Dead 1, because you know, people are like, well, that wasn't the first. Yes, I know, but you know what I'm talking about, because they're calling it, I think, Red Dead 2. Maybe they'll change the name later. Red Dead Redemption 2. But anyway, enough of that. Thank you all so much for watching this flash sale video. I hope to get another This Week in PlayStation video, maybe Sunday. I'll be able to get that up, just because I'm running really late today, and I did not expect a flash sale, and I know you guys like the flash sales a lot more than my This Week in PlayStation. As I can see from the Golden Week sale, did like 1,000 views, so hopefully this does pretty well. Check it out. If you buy anything, let me know down in the comment section below what you picked up. I always like seeing what people ended up buying from these flash sales and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this once again, and have a great day. I will see you next time.